Good morning everyone. Welcome to your English class. Hope you all are keeping well and are doing fine at your places. So today we are going to discuss with chapter 3, that is of your literature reader Hornbill. The name of the chapter is Discovering Tut. The saga continues by A.R. Williams. Well, it is a kind of a technical chapter where we will come to know about the last pharaoh of Egyptian dynasty, the very powerful dynasty. He ruled there for 19 years and he died at a very young age. Very mysterious that he was the last pharaoh of his dynasty. How he died, what his life was all about, the chapter deals with that. It's very interesting, very factual chapter. You will enjoy, I just hope. Before that, please open your books. Chapter 3 we will be starting from page number 22, and I just want to discuss one more thing, class 11. Before this chapter, I will send you one documentary that is available on YouTube also, and you can find one documentary made by the Discovery Channel that is also available. I will just send you a link of that. It will help you to understand this chapter more clearly, because this chapter is based on some factual information. Tutankhamun or dearly he is known as King Tut. That is a short name of his name. He was the last heir of this Pharaoh dynasty. Now this dynasty, it ruled Egypt for a very long time, and this story itself, Tutankhamun, he ruled this dynasty 3300 years ago. So it's a very, very long span. And in a later early 90s, that is in 1922, his tomb was first discovered by an archaeologist, a British archaeologist whose name was Howard Carter, and he first was successful in finding his tomb. What were this whole process was all about, that is simply mentioned over here. And since I told you, it was a mystery of his death, how he died. He was quite young and he was the last heir of this dynasty, but he died at a very young age of 19 only, and nobody knew the causes of death. So the chapter, it throws a light through some factual information that how it all happened, and how earlier in 1920s Howard Carter, and afterwards in 2005 Zahi Hawass, he was the person associated with this Antiquities, Supreme Council of Antiquities of Egypt, and how it happened. The chapter is all about that. Fine. So please, I request all of you, go through the text very, very carefully. Please read along with me. Take out your books. It will be quite helpful for you to understand this chapter. The chapter is written by A.R. Williams, who himself was a quite famous archaeologist, and it is also an account of what he found in his this discovery of King Tut's tomb. Fine. He was just a teenager when he died, the last heir of a powerful family that had ruled Egypt and its empire for centuries. He was laid to rest laden with gold and eventually forgotten. Since the discovery of his tomb in 1922, the modern world has speculated about what happened to him, with murder being the most extreme possibility. Now most of the people, they had this speculation that it might be possible that King Tut, he was murdered. He was murdered because of the riches that he was having, or the family rivalry, you can say that was another possibility. But nobody knows the exact reason of his cause of his death. That is the thing which the archaeologists and the scientists afterwards is mummy. All of you know that Egyptian people, they mummify their dead bodies. Mummified is the embalming of the dead bodies to preserve it for a long time. So King Tut, its body was also mummified, and when they just discovered the tomb, they had taken out the mummy outside, and it was a CT scan for the very first time. King Tut, why this chapter we are reading? See, there are so many people who have died, there must have been so many kings who have died, but why we are reading his history, his story? Because the reason being, scan. Fine. Now leaving his tomb for the first time in almost 80 years, Tut has undergone a CT scan that offers new clues about his life and death and provides precise data for an accurate forensic reconstruction of the boyish pharaoh. Now, forensic reconstruction, forensic, all of you know anything that is related to the after death, that is the scientists, it's a science that they just try to collaborate all the points, all the missing loops, they just try to collect it when there is any mystery, particularly the death mystery. So these forensic experts, they just try to match up all the loopholes just to connect to that reason or the cause of the person's death. So also they were trying to, the forensic people, they were trying to reconstruct the cause of his death. Fine. How they had done, just let us read about it. Now this is the account of Zahi Hawass. He was a person who belonged to, as I told you earlier also, he was the Secretary General of Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities. Now in 1922, first Howard Carter, he had discovered that tomb. उसने उसको discover किया था, but that time the science was not that developed. So he didn't have any such facilities to just probe, just to go through that mummy. But later on, Zahi Hawass in 2005, when he started doing this process again, they because that time they knew, okay, the tomb is there. Now they were totally trying to investigate what the things they had discovered from that tomb, why those things were there, which kind of all the artifacts or all the things were kept over there. The chapter introduces about that. An angry wind stirred up ghostly dust devils as King Tut was taken from his resting place in the ancient Egyptian cemetery known as the Valley of the Kings. All the kings were buried in the Valley of the Kings. वहाँ से किंग टट का जो tomb था, from that place the coffin was taken away from that place, and after 80 years since when Howard Carter he had discovered that tomb. Dark-bellied clouds had scudded across the desert sky all day and now were veiling the stars in cascade grey. It was 6 p.m. on 5th January 2005. Please underline this. You have to remember all these dates that have been mentioned in this chapter. The world's most famous mummy glided headfirst into a CT scanner brought here to probe the lingering medical mysteries of this little understood young ruler who died more than 3,300 years ago. So as I told you earlier also, that's a huge span of time. 3,300 years ago he existed, and now for the very first time his mummy was taken out for the CT scan, and that was itself something very unique for the Egyptian mummies. All afternoon, the usual line of tourists from around the world had descended into the cramped rock-cut tomb, some 26 feet underground, to pay their respects. They gazed the murals on the walls of the burial chamber and peered at Tut's gilded face, the most striking feature of his mummy-shaped outer coffin lid. Now, the things were quite normal that day, but the weather was not. And while some of them they were having this speculation, maybe it may be the pharaoh's curse also, because he must not be happy that his tomb was being disturbed and he was taken out for the CT scan. So they were just thinking it must be the pharaoh's curse also. And some tourists were there who were visiting this tomb. People, because it is now the tourist place, people they come and visit his tomb, they just see all the things which are displayed over there, all the things which were discovered from his tomb. See, it was 26 feet down into the ground, and it was a multi-layered coffin. As I told in this chapter, 3-layered coffin was there, and that too all made of pure gold. Pure gold coffin, 3-layered, and there was a plethora of things which were discovered underground. They belong to, actually the Egyptians, they believe that there is afterlife after death. The people, they believe life after death. So they bury all daily life items which you require in your life, they just bury all that, all those things, the artifacts, the food, the clothes, every daily use item they bury with the dead person. So that was the case with Pharaoh also, because since he was the king, he was the last king of the richest dynasty of Egypt. So a lot of things, there was jewels, there were ornaments, there were food items, there were linens, there were clothes, garments, everything. It was buried outside, inside with his grave. And when the tomb was discovered, all these things were also discovered. Now when I will show you that documentary, you will get to know that there was everything is displayed over there. They have displayed it, they have simply converted that tomb into a museum where tourists, they come, they pay the visit, they just marvel at the science of that time 3300 years ago, and still the mummy is intact. Though intact, they have tried, the archaeologists, they have tried to intact to safeguard that mummy, but it was sabotaged by Howard Carter a long time ago. The story they will tell here also. Fine. So when they had taken him out, the weather was very stormy. Wind, it started blowing, so they thought it may be the curse of the Pharaoh. The mummy is in very bad condition because of what Carter did in 1920s. Now this is said Zahi Hawass. Zahi Hawass is the person I told you, he was the Secretary General of Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities, and he was doing this excavation, the CT scan he was responsible for this process of a CT scan. As he leaned over the body for a long first look, Howard Carter, was a British archaeologist who in 1922, please remember the years class 11, discovered Tut's tomb after years of futile searching. Its contents, though hastily ransacked in antiquity. Ransacked when you just simply disturb the order of the items, those who were lying over there, because he was trying to search for the things. Now these things, these excavations, these discoveries, they are really, really very important and precious as far as the archaeologist's point of view is concerned. They treat it a very royal thing and very precious thing, and that is the reason that it was ransacked, and Zahi Hawass, he was not at all happy with that. He said that they remain the richest royal collection ever found and have become part of the Pharaoh's legend, and richest collection that was buried under this ground with the tomb, with the dead body of any Egyptian ruler. That was the richest of the things they have discovered from Pharaoh's tomb. Stunning art. Now these are the items that he is listing over here. Please do underline them, learn them properly, just go through them very carefully, because this is a question that they also ask to you in exams also. What was discovered? What were the things those were discovered from that tomb? These were the things: stunning artifacts in gold. Their eternal brilliance meant to guarantee resurrection, because gold is considered to be a very pure metal. It is associated with some divinity, some divine thing, it's very serene thing. So they thought that there is life after death. So whenever he will be resurrected, he will take rebirth, he will need this gold, and it will help him out in his next life. Caused a sensation at the time of the discovery, because there was so much gold. All the three coffins, as I told you, they were gilded, they were totally embedded with the precious stones and gold, and still get the most attention. But that was also buried with everyday things he would want in the afterlife, which I told you, and it included board games, a bronze laser, linen undergarments, cases of food and wine. After months of carefully recording the Pharaoh's funerary treasures, Carter began investigating his three nested coffins. Opening the first, he found a shroud adorned with garlands of willow and olive leaves. Now you have to remember all the three chambers one by one. What was discovered from the very first, when he opened the first chamber, what did he find? He found willow and olive leaves. Now these are the plants which existed at that time. So they just had a speculation that maybe he died during the month of March or April, because his burial was done then, and these were the flowers or plants available at that particular time of the season of the year. So they had this speculation that he must have this burial during March or April. So another thing was that wild celery, lotus petals and cornflowers, the faded evidence of a burial in March or April. When he finally reached the mummy, though, he ran into trouble. Now the major problem came which Howard Carter faced, and because of which the mummy was sabotaged. The reason being, because when he reached the third chamber, the final chamber where the mummy was lying, it was involved with all the the herbs and all the medicines just to preserve it. But when he reached there used to be a ritual in Egyptians when they used to bury the dead body. They used to put the raisins as if that kishmish जिसे बोलते हैं, raisins. They used to bury the dead bodies with raisins. And with the passage of time, since it was a long span of time, and with the pressure that the mummy was getting under the earth, under the ground, it was solidified. The raisins, they were cemented to the body, to the mummy of King Tut. Now that was the reason, that was a problem when he ran into trouble. The ritual raisins had hardened, cementing Tut to the bottom of his solid gold coffin. No amount of legitimate force could move them. Carter wrote later what was to be done. Now they tried each and everything. First the thing they tried, that it was so hot in Egypt, so he tried that, okay, let us put this coffin in sunlight, and with the heat of sun the raisins they will melt, and we can just simply take away this mummy from this gold casket. But it did not happen. It did not happen, though it was so hot, but still it did not happen. The sun can beat down like a hammer this south in Egypt, and Carter tried to use it to loosen the raisins for several hours. He set the mummy outside in blazing sunshine that heated it to 149 degrees Fahrenheit. Nothing budged, not even a single thing was moved. He reported with scientific detachment that the consolidated material had to be chiseled away from beneath the limbs and trunk before it was possible to raise the king's remains. And what was his final verdict on that condition? He said, I do not find any way to just take away, to just get rid of these raisins and loosen this mummy from the gold casket. So I have to chisel away, just to hammer it, just to take away using some pointed instrument. So he said that I have to just chisel away this, and this was the major reason why the mummy of King Tut was sabotaged. It was totally destroyed, and later on when Zahi Hawass did the excavation, he came to know about this thing. So we will be discussing in this in this lesson up to this point only. Let us just recapitulate. We just read about Tutankhaten or King Tut. He was the youngest pharaoh of Pharaoh dynasty, and this chapter is about the mystery related to his life and his death. His afterlife, how he died. The people, the archaeologists, the first we discussed about Howard Carter. He was a British archaeologist who discovered King Tut's tomb in 1922 for the very first time. But when in 2005 again he was sent for the mummy was sent for the CT scan for the very first time by Zahi Hawass, how he found that the mummy was totally sabotaged. So up to this point we are discussing, because this is a factual chapter, a lot of things you need to remember in this chapter. So please go for a thorough reading of the chapter, and the next episode we will discuss in next lesson. So till then, take care of yourself, stay safe. Thank you.